Shawn of GenG. And I want to start things off here with that name, because that name has changed. It used to be Shawn 12,590, and now it's just Shawn. What happened to the numbers?
Look, the numbers are still there. It's in my Twitter and then the little hashtag you get after your Valorant name? Those are the numbers there. It's just, I talked to Blank, the GM. I was like, hey, will Shawn12590 look bad if I do GenG Shawn12590? And he was like, I would recommend just doing Shawn. So, look, the numbers are still there. They're just a little hidden for, the true fans.
I like that. Okay. Well, what is the reasoning behind these mystical numbers? Is this some account you made when you were 5 years old or something and you just had to add numbers at the end? That's how it is for most people.
I mean, do you want the real answer or the one I give everyone?
I want both.
Okay, so the one on my stream is it's my body count. So, but the real answer is that, yes, I think I was playing like League when I was 13, right. And I couldn't think of a name because, okay, I'll embarrass myself a little bit, but I used a random name generator on do you know the game Smite? Yeah, I used a random name generator and got the sexy peanut. And then all my friends I knew at the time were like, dude, this name is dumb. And I was like, I don't know how to think of another name. So I took my zip code and put my first name there. This is an old zip code, so no one can find me. I'll make that clear. And yeah, that's what Shawn12590 is. And my other name before this, so this one's even worse, honestly. This is why I use Shawn12590, because my name making is horrible. It was Assassin Leader X.
Wow.
Yes, and my Twitch name was that, and my friends were like, hey, you shouldn't make your Twitch name not the same as your Valorant name. So then my Valorant name was Shawn12590 because of League, and I just ended up changing my whole brand to that. And now, it's going great, so... I don't think I would want to be under Assassin Leader X still, or the sexy peanut, so...
I like the sexy peanut. I think that works, though. Can you imagine them, it's like, so you can make it to champions. They're reading out player by player, and they're like, GMD. The crowd goes wild, and then, the sexy peanut. People would be losing their minds.
I don't know how much you know about my past, but... I was on a team originally called Big Pizza, and I loved that because whenever the casters would say us against the team, they'd be like, "It's Big Pizza coming out with round number 9." And I just love the fact that they're saying Big Pizza, that's so troll. So I agree. The sexy peanut might have actually been funny.
I want to ask you as well. One of the transitions while you were making this name shift as well, when you got signed by GenG, it was almost a year ago at this point, right? Was that you moved from being a Sova main to being a duelist main, and now you've kind of started transitioning that a little bit more into a flex kind of role, because you've been picking up the Sky and stuff as well, which a lot of the secondary duelist players have been doing at the moment in Valorant. What has that whole process been like for you? Because your come up was on a very different role to what you originally, or not originally, but started out being on a pro Valorant team with.
So honestly, it's probably helped me become a better player, honestly, playing all these roles. But I did start with Sova, and then I kind of got sick of Sova. I didn't get sick of Sova. The team I was on, I didn't think Sova was meant for me. So when I messaged Blank, he was the coach at the time, I said, look, I don't really want to play Sova anymore. I'm looking I'll play it, but I would rather play a duelist, a first entry Jet or maybe Reyna. So he was like, yeah, I don't want to pick you up as a Sova. I want you as a duelist. So my first few tournaments you saw was Reyna, I think, maybe a few raises or something, but a lot of Reyna. And then, when the meta changed and Sky got introduced and was actually being played as a good agent, that was when we thought hey, we need a Sky player. And I think I don't know when we made this change. I don't know if Wynn was still on the team. But it might have been when Nature came in. I don't actually remember. I just had a few scrims of Sky, and our coach MCE at the time was like, it looks good, so let's do it. And then that was my current role, Flex, which is pretty much Sky. I did play a little bit of KO, but I don't know if that... now he's more viable. When I was playing him, he was not so good, so... I play a Sky Flex role right now, and honestly I just know a lot about most of the roles now. I guess like Sentinels or Smokes, but like even that I've looked into. So yeah, it's just helped me a lot, like learn about the game and stuff.
This is going to be the most important tournament of your relatively short Valorant career. I mean, everyone's Valorant careers have been pretty short, though, because the game's barely come out. But this is a pretty huge tournament. You managed to win this. You're through to champions. You're the third best team in North America for the entire year, essentially. That's what's on the line here. Does that kind of translate to pressure or excitement for you? What are the emotions for you coming into LCQ?
Honestly, it's all excitement for me. I like when I heard that it was a LAN, and like I was pretty sad that we didn't get to play in like Berlin or Iceland, and like I was missing out on the LAN experience, because I think like LAN is like where the true players like show themselves. So I'm super excited to like showcase like my abilities as a player, and yeah, I'm not worried about playing on LAN. I'm sure I'll play just fine. I'm a type of player that focuses more on like teamwork and helping out the teammates, make them look better. So for me, I don't care like stats. I'm here to just show like how impactful I can be, and I think LAN will be super fun. I'm super excited for when COVID like maybe cools down a little bit more and like all of the stuff becomes LAN. That'll be so sick. It'll be so fun.
What were you doing, just out of curiosity, before Valorant? Like before your pro career, what were you up to? What was happening in Shawn's life back then?
Okay, I played a good amount of CS. Like I have like 5,000 or 6,000 hours in it. But that was when I was like a small child. I was like 12, 13 at the time, super high voice. I didn't know anything about like ESEA or how to get into the pro play, but the friends I met at the time, they were always like, "Oh man, you should go pro. Like you definitely have the like skills that are more than average or like normal." But I never pursued anything in CS, so I did take a pretty long break, probably like a year or two. I was just doing like college, and I also at the time picked up like, this is weird, but MMA. Right. Yeah, I was doing like boxing and kickboxing. It was pretty fun. But then Valorant came out, and I was like, I've always wanted to pursue like a pro career, but like CS, it was way too hard to actually like get into, especially like it was like 16, or I was 16 at the time, and like that scene was like so hard locked. So when Valorant came out, I was like, if I put the time into it, I probably can make it far. And I was also working at McDonald's. I was doing McDonald's, the MMA, and college at the time. So like, but then that's when COVID. Okay, this is gonna sound bad, but COVID technically impacted my life positively in this aspect, because had it not been for COVID, I wouldn't have spent nearly as much time into Valorant as I did with COVID, because I got like less hours on the job, so I had more time to practice with my team, and my MMA place shut down, so it was just like Valorant. So it's kind of, I don't like to say COVID was positive for me, but it made it's why I'm here today. But yeah, that's where I was before. So
it's funny, it's a pretty big coincidence and convenience that you brought up the fact that you were working at McDonald's before you came out, because I actually ordered some McDonald's earlier on, and I wanted you to rate my order. Okay, all right. So first of all, I started off, got myself a Happy Meal. I don't know. Could you take a look? Yeah. I don't know what the hell is in there, and I don't know what would you recommend?
A hamburger Happy Meal? I respect it. I'm personally more of a cheeseburger guy, but see, I never went too far into the menu. I stuck with the comfort food. Like, I would recommend like nuggets or like a solid cheeseburger. And then if you're really feeling like spending some cash at McDonald's, upgrade to like a quarter pounder or a Big Mac. That's where that good stuff, like that fresh meat, is at. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got another one here as well. I don't know what the hell was in this bag too. All right. What do you think of this? It's apple pie.
That was like my break food at my job. I actually did like that, taking the one on break.
Okay. This one just says pie, but I think if I remember correctly, this was like a pumpkin and cream or something.
Yeah, that's a new one. I haven't. No. That's a no-go for me.
Okay. What about this one? It's controversial. The fillet of fish.
No. Okay, this is the food that you give to like your grandma at the age of like 70. Like, that's the type of people that I would hear coming through the driveway ordering a fillet of fish. It was never like a 20-year-old dude. It was like the gray hairs, like It's not that tasty, let's be honest.
All right, that's really sad because I've got to eat that later on. What else do I have in this bag? Oh, well, I've just thrown this all over the inside, but that's dripping as well. What is this? An Oreo McFlurry? Where'd you rate the Oreo McFlurry?
That's probably up there. My mom likes those, so that's a good one. That's a good dessert.
And then I got the I got the Happy Meal with milk, which is a controversial decision, I'm sure.
Yeah, I just should have picked the apple juice. Like, what's the point of milk?
Strong bones, high calcium. I don't know.
You can skip on. You're eating McDonald's at this point. I don't think you're caring too much at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let me put this down on the floor for a second. I want to ask you now. I want to pivot into your Valorant career best moment, and then McDonald's career best moment. I want to get, and maybe MMA best moment as well. What are the highlights here?
All right, so Valorant. I think it was definitely placing third and beating Envy.
Sorry, I'm just gonna take some.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Tell me how you think or what you think of it.
That's some good shit.
Right? Beating Envy in the first Masters, it's kind of, been a little downhill since then, but I was like a brand new player at the time. Like I was like 3 or 4 months in, and like Envy is still considered like top 3 NA. So taking them down was like sick. Making number 3, that's definitely the highlight.
Okay. Were there any highlights of a McDonald's career?
There were, I don't know if you'd call these highlights, but very interesting people I've met along the way. Like this guy, it's like, I don't do morning shifts normally, but I had a friend in there and I was like, sure, I'll come in. And this guy like came to get some coffee. My friend like messed up his coffee and the guy like started freaking out. Oh no, actually I have a better one. Okay, I just remembered this. So there's this dude, sketchy dude. I also don't work in the best neighborhood, but there's a sketchy dude. His car, he said he was locked out of. So he was like, can I get a switchblade or like anything like that? And I was like, dude, we don't carry that. And then he was like, all right, can I get one of your brooms? And I was like, no, dude. Like, and then later I see my manager actually gives him the broom. And then he goes out to his car, fiddles with his car trying to get it open, ends up breaking the broom, and then comes back in. My manager is like pissed at this point. She goes out there and she sees that one of his doors is actually open the whole time. So yeah, that was I think that's one of the highlights. That was a wild day. It was like super busy too, and this dude's just asking for a broom the whole time.
What was he intending to do with the broom? I understand if he was trying to like smash a window or something, but you sound like he's like trying to pick the lock with a broom.
That's what it looked like. Or like maybe he had like a tiny gap. He couldn't like, you know how like people reach their hand in and like unlock it from the inside? I don't know if he was trying that with the broom, but we ended up getting back a broken broom. So that's one of the craziest things I think I've seen.
All right, I love that. All right, I'm going to say the same thing, but worst moments. Are there any regrets of your short Valorant career so far, or like big misses in tournaments, or moments where you feel like an opportunity slipped through your fingers? And then, listen, it's a softball question. Worst moment of the McDonald's career, because I feel like there's going to be 1,000 different ways that you could spin that.
Worst moment of Valorant? That's an interesting one. I would say the worst moment is like when we went into Masters 2, I think that was the Iceland one. We were like, I don't know if this, look, I'm sorry if GenG hears this, but we were like dead as a team. Like the team was actually like, we had no chemistry. It was like, I actually came into that tournament with like very little confidence. Like, especially when we faced C9, I was like, oh, we're going to get smashed, right? I think we faced C9 first, and then we faced TSM after. Right. And, like, both times I was like, this is not going well. And, like, we looked horrible at the time. So, yeah, that was definitely, like, one of my lowest points is, like, I was considering, like, maybe, like, if this team actually dies, I'll need to look for future opportunities. So that was definitely the lowest. Now, McDonald's, I don't even... Okay, actually... Dude, I actually don't know why I'm remembering this, but this was when I was 3 months into the job, so I could have gotten booted like this. It was a slow day, so, they make some cuts depending on how much they're making in the hours. Like they'll send people home, and so my hat, it had like a little hole here, and I would twirl the hat on my finger. So I just clocked out. I was ready to go home, and I walked back past the fryers, and I was twirling my hat on my finger, and I just saw the hat go into the fryer. And even to make it worse, I didn't even realize, like I was in shock. I was like, oh shit, am I gonna get fired now? So I was like, shit, I gotta get this out. And I was actually almost put my hand in the fryer to try and grab the hat. And then luckily my manager was like, yo, chill. And that was my lowest. Like I actually felt like I was embarrassed. I was like a dumbass after that. And ever since, like all the old employees that were there, like until I quit, like always kept reminding me of that moment where I threw my hat in the fryer. So that was definitely the lowest.
I love that. That's so funny. I was really expecting it to be a story about some like particularly difficult employee or like a particularly difficult customer, and it's you just throwing your hat in the fryer. I think that's phenomenal. Thank you very much for sitting down and doing the interview with me. I know that this wasn't a particularly standard one, but I got some nice food and some good stories out of it. Good luck in your opening game as well. Wish you all the best throughout the tournament, and I hope things go incredibly well for you.
Thank you. I'm excited to play, and I know, since we're the lowest seed, people might not expect the highest of us, but we've been working really hard, and so we've got some things to show.
Sweet. Thank you. And we'll see you for more interviews later on.